walked directly into the park and began to throw the pamphlets in the air and then lit himself on fire.
A former Long Islander set himself on fire outside of the Trump trial courthouse. You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. The NYPD says the man is Max Azzarello. Here's video of the aftermath. Public records say the 37-year-old graduated from North Shore High School in Glen Head. His most recent address was in Florida. He previously lived in Seacliff and worked for Tom Suozzi's campaign back in 2013. Now, a spokesperson for Suozzi says, quote, Congressman Suozzi hasn't seen or talked to him since then, and we're all keeping Max and his family in our prayers. Now, this afternoon, police described what happened.
We observe a male walk into the park. He walks into the center of the park. When he's in the park, he starts shuffling around his clothes. He opens up a book bag. From the book bag, he takes numerous pieces of papers, pamphlets out. He throws the pamphlets throughout the park. And then he pulls out a canister and pours some kind of liquid on himself. A liquid we believe is an accelerant, and he lights himself on fire. The male, he takes a couple of steps while he's on fire, then eventually falls onto a police barrier and falls down to the ground. He's on fire. Another area in the park where some of the accelerant spilt is also on fire. Civilians, court officers, members of the police department, they run into the park. They make efforts to put him out. They use their coats, they use fire extinguishers. Eventually, FDNY responds. We're able to put the male, extinguish the fire, and from that point, we remove him to a Cornell burn unit.
Now, inside the courthouse, a full jury was seated. 7 men and 5 women have been chosen. 6 alternates have also been picked. Now, the trial centers on claims that Trump falsified business records to cover up hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. And the EPA has designated 2 forever chemicals as hazardous substances. The chemicals are PFOS and PFOA, which have been linked to cancers and developmental damage. The Biden administration says this will ensure polluters pay to clean up contamination. The Suffolk County Water Authority says their customers are at risk of being forced to pay for the cleanup costs. Last week, the feds announced new restrictions on just how much chemicals can be in our drinking water. And a mild winter has animal shelters across the island preparing for an influx of feral kittens. Virginia Huey has more.
All you're hearing is people saying, I found kittens, help, help, help.
Cat rescue groups and animal shelters across the island are bracing for a flood of feral kittens. They usually see a wave of kittens come into their shelters at the beginning of spring, but they say the mild winter has made matters worse.
In the wintertime, a lot of times litters don't survive the winter with the harsh winter and the cold. But when it's warmer, more kittens tend to survive.
These kittens are part of a colony that Jim Oliva recently rescued from an abandoned building near JFK Airport.
We went from 13 cats that we trapped to 26 in our care now because the original adults and the babies.
Litters like these are quickly filling up shelters and rescues across the island.
And all these rescues are at not only capacity, space-wise, but emotionally, physically, and financially, just trying to keep up.
Animal control experts say if you see a stray cat or abandoned litter, you should call your town animal shelter right away.
These 4 are very, very lucky.
This litter was saved by Smithtown Animal Control after a resident alerted them. Shelters and rescue groups say their trap, neuter, and release program helps keep the feral cat population in check.
As long as we keep on top of it, I feel like we are definitely making a dent in it, even though it's such a big problem.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
There were big celebrations at Suffolk Community College in Brentwood today. Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine and Acting Police Commissioner Robert Waring took part in a ceremony to mark the promotions of 200 officers. The event recognized those who were promoted since 2022. Among those honored today is Assistant Chief Milagro Soto, the highest-ranking female in department history. And the New York Islanders are surprising some local families going through tough times with free playoff tickets.
To see them smile and be able to smile and have joy in seeing the Islanders and watching their favorite players and being able to go to a game, it's beyond words. It's great.
The Brome family from Merrick is one of the families to get Islanders swag. Kevin Brome has been battling colon cancer while the family is still mourning the sudden death of Kevin's wife in the fall. 3 other Long Island families were also given playoff tickets.
I'm Jamie Stewart for NewsdayTV. The most surprising team in the entire NBA this season has to be the Knicks. They earned the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. First time in 10 years they've done that, and they did so by overcoming a mountain of injuries to key players. Now their MVP candidate Jalen Brunson has his sights set on the 76ers, who defeated Miami Wednesday in the play-in game. The odds makers say this series is very even. So does that mean the Knicks are still underrated? Newsday Knicks beat writer Steve Popper doesn't think so.
I don't think the Knicks are underrated anymore. I think maybe up, at the start of the season they were, and people didn't kind of believe in Jalen Brunson and what he could lead this team. People talked about is he a 1A star? Is he a superstar? I think what they've proven this season is one, he is a top 5 MVP candidate. They have a 2-time Coach of the Year running the show. To me, I think people have kind of realized that they're a dangerous team that can make a deep playoff run. They start here with the Sixers, who I think they've handled during the regular season, but I think people look at them as the one team that could cause damage, even to the Boston Celtics in a conference final.
The last time the Knicks and Sixers faced each other in the playoffs, 1989. I'm dating myself because I saw it when Rick Pitino and Patrick Ewing swept Charles Barkley in 3 games. Game 1, Saturday night at the Garden. To read more about the Knicks on Newsday.com, just click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Feed Me is brought to you by PC Richard & Son.
There seems to be a lot of buzz about omakase sushi here on Long Island. Scott Vogel has today's Feed Me TV.
What is omakase? Well, it's different.
I don't know how to describe it.
Exciting.
Gotcha.
Unpredictable.
We've lost power. It's over.
Confusing.
It is such a challenge to identify everything in these dishes correctly.
Anxiety-provoking.
I'm nervous, but I'm committed to doing this right.
A little scary, maybe.
I'm supposed to be using a chopstick.
And what was that other thing?
It is unlike any other restaurant experience, which is a very good thing.
Omakase, a Japanese word meaning I'll leave it up to you. And it refers to a style of eating in which the diner chooses not to choose what to eat, instead leaving that choice entirely up to the chef, in this case, Chef Osen Wang, who presides over Sora Omakase in Stony Brook.
So some people call this sea bream, some people call it red snapper, everyone calls it delicious.
You arrive knowing that you'll be eating, say, 13 courses.
Pacific oyster, specifically from Seattle.
But not what the courses are.
So Tobago, it may look just like a regular omelet, but it's got a little sweetness to it, and it's also flavored with like a little dashi broth.
And what's the reward for such bravery? Some of the freshest sushi you will ever taste.
Look how beautiful that fish is.
Dishes you never thought you'd love.
So the word for this, I've just learned, is hikarimono, which refers to any shiny object, including this striped jack with the silvery skin still on it.
And an experience you just might not ever forget.
Look how big this oyster is, though. This is not a Long Island oyster.
Needless to say, omakase can be a bit off-putting to a certain class of restaurant patron, namely those who define dining out as eating exactly when and what I want.
I mean, like, who am I talking to? I don't know.
But if you've ever let a sommelier decide the wine, told the barber to do whatever, let someone pick out your clothes, or even just purchase one of those $10 mystery grab bags at Michael's, you've done omakase. So, should you try it?
Oh, thank you. Just as I suspected, it is the new best dessert in the world.
The choice is yours.
I'm done. I'm great.
Now, for more on this sushi and other great places to eat, check out the new edition of our Feed Me magazine. The magazine goes out to home delivery subscribers this Sunday. You could also read more about this story on Newsday TV. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Now let's take a look at your somewhat wet Long Island weather. The good news is it's not as rainy as you'd think. So tonight we do have some light rain, and tomorrow we're going to start off with rain. But if you take a closer look at tomorrow, you can see the rain does not stick around all day. Tapers off afternoon. We have a pretty nice afternoon pretty much for Saturday, leading into Sunday, which is dry, and Monday we have Earth Day, so don't forget to plant something, and of course, pick up some trash if you see it on the ground.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to water your plants. It's Earth Day Monday. Have a good weekend.